Okay, I'm back. Hello. Um, what a soggy day here in Buffalo in every way. Um, my heart feels soggy. Of course, because of my little buddy Gabe. I have some great friends, though. My friend BC brought over some milk. She asked if I needed anything, and she said, "Do you want some milk for Gabe?" And because she knows he likes it, and I didn't know if he would drink it or not, but actually he did after a while. He at first he smelled it, and then he winced, and he seemed not nauseated by it, but then he came back and finished it. So that might be most of what he's had today. And then my lovely neighbor Rose, the cat whisperer, the animal whisperer, who you've heard me talk about before if you have watched me regularly, she came down with some CBD oil, cannabis oil. She suggested I rub 2 drops on the inside of his ear, and that it might also help him with his appetite, or at least keep him chill. So that sounds like a good plan to me. If they dole out the morphine for human beings, we should be doling out the the cannabis oil too, for human beings and for pets, right? So, and then I have yet another friend who works at a vet clinic who said if I needed any, if I needed any emergency service, might be able to help in that way. So we'll see. I don't think that's going to be needed because I think my vet will be open again tomorrow. But it's nice. It is really nice when people will, be so kind when you're having trouble with a loved pet. But if you watch my other video from this afternoon, then I mentioned that I had a funny dream about hanging out with Lena Rodriguez, the psychic. And of course, I've never talked to her, on Zoom or anything like that. I've never been in one of those chats, but I watch her videos a lot, and I love her sense of humor. I love the way she slices into people like the orange, the orange one. So it was interesting to have the dream. And so, of course, as usual, I wrote down the details so that I could recount them more accurately after I had the dream. And so let me get it here on the screen. Now, what's really curious about it is because, again, if you've been watching me for a while, then you know that I just recently had a dream about spending time with Kim Carey in conversation. She didn't remember it when, the next day, but I did. And it was so much like we were hanging out that it felt less like a dream. And I feel like it must have been astral projection. Who knows, right? Lena, I don't know. Maybe, maybe it's not. It was unexpected, that's for sure. So here, I'll read what I wrote. I had a short dream. I played Scrabble. Yes, Scrabble with Lena Rodriguez on the floor of the living room of the house I grew up in. So that's in the suburbs of Buffalo. We played one game, and I believe she won. When we started the second game, she was lying on the couch with one of our Afghan rugs on and talking about how there was probably going to be an announcement, perhaps by 45's son, Junior, so 45 Junior, regarding psychics and how they're all frauds or something like that. And that if I didn't really say it. If I guess I could say it, whatever. If 45 Junior were to be elected, so I guess he was running for something in this dream. Not that I expect that. If he were elected, then he would outlaw psychics. Then she said he'll never get elected, and then something real smart, like she would say. So that was kind of all funny. And then it reminded me of Evangeline Adams and how she was in Kim Carey's reading with Andrea and Debbie a week or two back, where Evangeline Adams was a famous psychic in the United States in New York City in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. And her court case is the case that helped to legalize psychic readings, because up until the early 1900s, they were illegal, which is just incredible to me. And so that got me curious about Evangeline Adams, because I felt some kind of connection to her that I couldn't exactly explain. And I have read bits of one of the books now, Astrology, Your Place in the Sun. And I've ordered a couple more. I was able to find old copies online of a couple of them, and I'm expecting them in the mail. So I'll check those out too. So it all kind of is in the same basket. Now, the funny thing about playing Scrabble with Lena Rodriguez while she's in the couch is I was sitting on the floor, kind of cross-legged with the board on the floor, but she couldn't see the board because she was on the couch, but she was still playing. So it was like she had, the ability to see the board without sitting at the board, and she was dictating her word choices to me to put place on the board, apparently, because she was lying back, relaxing under the blanket. And okay, so here's the next thing that I wrote. We were only 3 words into the second game when she played a word off of the center of the board that only had 2 letters in it, and the letters were separated by a space. So I have no idea how that can even be a word or what word it was. So imagine a Scrabble board, one piece, then a blank space, and then another piece. So, and I don't even remember if they look like letters or they look more like symbols. So maybe some kind of, spirit symbols, some kind of powerful, cosmic symbols instead of letters. And then I wrote, and somehow the values of the individual letters and the word were worth thousands of points as I sat there doing the math. And like every letter had quadruple word value, and then the word had quadruple word value, and then like the placement on the board had extra value. So like I was doing all this math, and then like after a while it was just like farcical because I was up into the thousands, which never happens in Scrabble. I don't even think it's possible. So this is obviously more symbolic than, a realistic game. And I'm doing the math, and it just seems like the math, it just keeps multiplying. Like there's more angles to where her word is just worth more points than are even, conceivable. So then I just said, oh, well, I said, this game is definitely over. You won, and I'll never even catch up. And then she said she had to go, and which felt abrupt. But she asked if my family would watch her dog for a few days. I don't know if she has a dog. And I said, sure. And let's see. There's a little bit more about the dog in a moment. So she's getting ready to leave. And I wrote that we didn't seem to have like strong personal chemistry. And she did most of the talking, and I listened, but it was like pleasant enough. It was more like she sounded like she does in her videos, well-educated, researched, and informed. And when she spoke, it was kind of like watching one of her videos for information. More of that than it was like a dialogue or a conversation back and forth. It was more like she was talking and I was listening. And then I think my mom must have been there and helped Lena bring Lena's dog from from upstairs to the downstairs from my mom or my brother's bedroom. And I think my mom had been playing with it up there. And then when the dog came down the staircase, again, of the house I grew up in, it jumped up and it licked my face. So we knew it would work out for us to watch her dog for a few days. And then Lena gave us the food the dog liked, the dog liked, and she left. That's it. So along with my Kim Carey dream, that's 2 psychics that I watch. So did I meet Lena Rodriguez for a game of Scrabble in the night? I don't know. If there's another psychic that I watch in an upcoming dream, who knows where we're headed now. And I also noted that in an earlier dream that evening, which is unrelated, that I was at a costume party where the popular costume was some kind of miniature rocket device. Like people were dressed up like rockets, and the bottom of the costume was an actual mini rocket, and it would take you a couple of feet off the ground when you activated it. And when I saw more than one person with one, I was like, oh my God, I want one of those too. But then in the dream, I remembered I could levitate naturally anyway. So I did. And I zipped around the room a few feet off the floor. And I remember specifically like, going up vertically, but then like, horizontally around the room, that I get different angles because I could. So I've had enough levitation dreams now to where that seems to be in my bag of tricks. And man, I wish I could levitate like right now. That'd be awesome. So there you have it. That's last night's dream content. 2 dreams, hanging out with psychics. I wonder who's next. Okay, talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.